We'll make it though. I know somebody will be there to give me a hand. So, excuse me, guys.
A lot of high emotions as people are feeling the damage from Ida along the Gulf Coast. The storm delivered some of its hardest hits to Louisiana after making landfall there Sunday. Homes in the southern part of the state, most now unrecognizable to their owners. Over 5,000 National Guard troops deployed across the state. Also, some 3,600 Federal Emergency Management or FEMA employees are headed to the region. Louisiana's levee system appears to have mostly held up against Ida. Its electrical grid did not. Over 1 million homes and businesses in the state were left without power.
It is going to be here. So I know that people are going to be making accommodations to go someplace where they can get air conditioning.
Power in the metro New Orleans area won't be restored for several days. So far, 2 deaths have been confirmed following Ida. And help is on the way for those impacted by the storm. Georgia Power says they're sending about 500 employees to contract teams to Mississippi. They'll help its sister company, Mississippi Power, with restoration efforts. This video shows teams from Atlanta on their way. And it's not the only help coming from Georgia. A restaurant in Fulton County is using some of its money to help with recovery. The founder of Bayou Q in Roswell grew up in Louisiana. About 5% of the store's sales, totaling up to $5,000, will go to storm relief. A portion of September's proceeds will also go to relief, as well as some other sales, and they hope to host an online fundraiser on the restaurant's Facebook page. Well, it looks like the Georgia National Guard is also waiting in the wings to possibly help other states. At a news conference yesterday, Governor Brian Kemp said he's, quote, spoken with General Cardin and the Georgia National Guard. They stand ready to assist our neighbors in the event that they need it. We will continue to stay in contact with Louisiana, Mississippi, and any others to make sure they have the support they need to recover from this devastating storm. Now, the governor says Georgia received several requests from neighboring states. He says the Georgia Emergency Management Agency, or GEMA, is working through those to see how they can help. We'll continue to follow the latest on Ida and potential impacts here all throughout the morning. Now on to some other news. Jury selections now underway for the death penalty trial of Donnie Rowe. He's one of the men accused in connection to the deaths of 2 Georgia corrections officers. This is file video. Jury selection started yesterday, and according to District Attorney T. Wright Barksdale, it may last the rest of this week and into next week if needed. Rowe and Ricky DeBose are accused of killing Sergeants Curtis Ballou and Christopher Monica aboard a prison bus in Putnam County in June of 2017. The jury is being selected from Grady County and will be brought back to Putnam County for the trial. Back in April of 2018, Rowe pleaded not guilty to charges of 2 counts of murder, 1 count of hijacking a motor vehicle, and 1 count of escape. Since then, his trial has been delayed in part because of the pandemic. When 13 WMAZ spoke to Putnam County Sheriff Howard Sills in May about the upcoming trial, he said they had a tall task ahead of them.
A trial like this is an arduous task for everybody involved, but we're truly looking forward to getting it done and getting it behind us and hopefully getting right on to Mr. DuBose.
Could face the death penalty if convicted. The trial for DuBose is currently set for May of 2022. And now to news from across the state. An arraignment for the man accused in connection to 2 Atlanta spa shootings will now happen about a month later. Robert Aaron Long already pleaded guilty to 4 counts of murder in connection to deaths in Cherokee County. He was scheduled to be arraigned yesterday in the Fulton County deaths, but the reading of the indictment and entering of a plea was postponed until September 28th. Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis says she plans to seek the death penalty for the Atlanta deaths. And Georgia state lawmakers will use the same guidelines as in 2010 to redraw congressional, legislative, and other electoral districts. That's according to the Associated Press, which means lawmakers are not required to give members of the public an advanced look at those plans. They're also not required to consider whether districts give candidates from different political parties a meaningful chance to win. Identical guidelines were presented to both House and Senate redistricting committees yesterday. The guidance says lawmakers must consider whether they're splitting counties or precincts, whether a district is compact, and whether communities of interest are kept whole. A special session is expected in October or November. And Governor Kemp's calling up more state National Guard troops amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Georgia's top leader issued a new executive order yesterday. It calls for an additional 1,500 troops to help with the state's COVID-19 response. It will allow for the deployment of up to 2,500 National Guard members should they be needed, potentially to help at hospitals and other healthcare groups. The order also suspends wait and time limits for trucks to get supplies to hospitals faster. Well, Americans may need to think twice before planning a trip to Europe. Experts are echoing the safety of the Pfizer vaccine And getting a shot is as easy as 1, 2, 3 or DUB. Let's catch you up on 3 coronavirus-related headlines this morning. The European Union has recommended that its 27 nations reinstate restrictions on tourists from the U.S. It's because of rising coronavirus cases here. The European Council's decision to remove the U.S. from a safe list of countries for non-essential travel reverses advice from June. And that's when the bloc recommended lifting those restrictions on U.S. travelers before the summer tourism season. The guidance isn't binding, though. U.S. travelers could see a mixture of travel rules across the continent. National EU governments have the authority to decide whether they keep their borders open to U.S. tourists. And U.S. government advisors are reiterating that Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine is safe and effective for people 16 and older. The vaccine was the first to get full FDA approval in the U.S. for that age group last week. It also remains available for emergency use by 12 to 15-year-olds. The full approval gave advisors to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention a chance to look at all the extra evidence about safety since vaccinations first began last December. Data revealed yesterday showed one serious side effect, heart inflammation, remains exceedingly rare after both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. And you have a shot to get a COVID-19 vaccine in Central Georgia this week. The South Central Health District will hold a clinic on Friday. It's happening at 117 East Jackson Street in Dublin. It will be in the breezeway between the tag office and the commissioner's office. It runs from 9 until noon. The city says the district will offer Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, and you don't need an appointment. All right, the time is now 6:37. We have that severe weather threat for today, so everyone just needs to be careful when you're planning your day.
That's right, yeah, especially when you have a threat rolling through and a lot of people will be heading out from school and work, all those things, a hot commute hour, you know, got to be extra careful. So weatherware is the key word today, or words, I should say. Yes, absolutely. And our app is great for that. We have been talking about our 13 WMAZ app all morning long, a great tool to stay weather aware, as warnings will pop up right to your phone, so you'll know what is going on right in your area if you need that information. Now, of course, our severe threat today, thanks to Tropical Depression Ida. The storm continuing to weaken as it moves inland and pushing off to the northeast. It will continue that northeast track throughout the day today, keeping us, though, on the right side of the storm. So while the center of circulation isn't going to roll right through here, very much like Fred did not too long ago, we are still going to be on the right side of the storm. And on the right side of landfalling tropical systems is where you get the potential for severe weather. And unfortunately, Central Georgia is looking ahead to that today. I do think the greater threat for severe weather is going to be along the I-75 corridor points west for the day today. And that's because I don't think you're only going to experience one round of storms today, but two. If you are in our easternmost counties, it looks like your severe threat will come to an end a little bit earlier. What are we looking for? Very gusty wind. Also, of course, those heavy tropical downpours and maybe a couple of brief spin-up tornadoes as we head through the afternoon and evening. If you're waking up with us this morning, nice and quiet, but very muggy out there. You're looking live on top of the Fred Roberts building in Dublin. 75 degrees, wind starting to slightly pick up, and that will continue as we go through the next few hours. It is, of course, going to be very breezy today as we wait for those rain bands to roll through, and as they do roll through the area. Rainfall wise, just a couple of light showers out there, nothing that should cause too many problems for your morning drive. It looks like Crawford County, that shower could roll into Bibb County, also parts of Houston, Crisp and Dooley County, and up towards Jasper County, just a couple of light showers. All of the heavier rain and thunderstorm activity, also where we've been seeing some severe weather this morning, is out to our west along that outer rain band that will pay us a visit a little bit later today. We're going to time it out for you hour by hour here with Future View. As we head towards lunchtime, that's when we're going to open up that window of opportunity for severe weather. The threat will start in our western counties and then push off to the east throughout the afternoon into the early evening. By 1, 2 o'clock, notice this is the time a lot of students will be headed home from school today. And that's what I'm talking about. Be extra weather aware, especially as you are starting to get ready to head home from school, or if you're planning on heading out and running any errands today. By 5 o'clock, I think we're going to get a little bit of a lull, so that'll be good news for all of you heading home from work today. But we won't be done with our threat. Notice here comes outer rain band number 2 that could push through the area, again, starting west, pushing off to the east through the later evening. However, by 11 o'clock tonight, I think we'll bring that threat to an end. And again, our easternmost counties, I think we're only going to be concerned about you as we head into the late afternoon and early evening. Wednesday, just a few wraparound showers, our best coverage of rain for the afternoon. afternoon, maybe an isolated rumble of thunder, but then here comes the sweet spot. On the backside of tropical systems, we're going to have a change in our wind direction and get what we call subsiding air. That's going to bring in some lower humidity just in time for the weekend. Timing of Ida storms 12 to 2 if you are west of 75 along the I-75 corridor, 1 to 4, 3 to 5 for our easternmost counties. And then, of course, we'll be watching that second round of storms starting at 8 and then pushing off to the east, ending around 11 along, again, counties along our I-75 corridor for the day today. Your 7-day forecast shows, of course, Ida is what we are keeping our eye on today. Be weather aware. Wraparound showers Wednesday. Lower humidity will be on the way to round out the week.
All right, thank you, Courtney. It's 6:42. $250,000 is now available for one Central Georgia university. What Fort Valley State plans to use the donation for? That story is in about 4 minutes.